Taoiseach, the public are genuinely shocked by the revelations of last week in relation to operational activities by garda síochána. In particular, the fact that 146,000 people were summoned to court wrongly for road traffic infringements, and of those 14,700 received sanctions and convictions. A fundamental issue that undermines our criminal justice system, the relationship between our courts and the Gardaí, and the veracity of what they bring to the courts in terms of evidence. Secondly, 1 million breath tests falsely put up on Pulse. So 1 million essentially in 4 years actually done. Gardaí are saying we did 2 million. A completely false figure. That is a very serious issue for a number of reasons. The fundamental one of integrity of an garda síochána. Of course, data and information of this kind informs policy. So the impression is out there that there's constant major attack on drink driving. We're on top of it. We're doing 2 million breath tests and so on. Whereas the reality is far from that. And it's arguable that that neutered a policy response in relation to drunk driving. And I can recall the former chairman of the Road Safety Authority, Gay Byrne, complaining about the lack of enforcement. Is this the response to the lack of enforcement? Falsify the figures? Or is it to create promotion opportunities? Or what is it? We don't know. We have not been told why the figures were falsified. The language in all the press releases is cautious, careful, and designed not to tell us. And we're now told 3 years on, from when this was initially told to the Gardaí by the Medical Bureau, we're told the Gardaí still have to go off and try and find out what happened. We know that the Gardaí wrote to the Minister's Department in June of 2016. What did the Minister do in relation to that? Did the Minister intervene at any stage up to last week? And why didn't the Minister inform the Dáil in relation to this issue? Because we learned that Minister Leo Varadkar apparently received correspondence from Gay Byrne again in his capacity as chairman from a whistleblower outlining all of this. So, Taoiseach, there are fundamental questions. One, why didn't the Commissioner inform the policing authority? Met them 6 times in the last year, but did not inform them that an audit was underway and the scale of the revelations that were about to unfold. Why didn't Minister Fitzgerald inform the Dáil and intervene much earlier? And I would ask that all correspondence that the Minister received on this from the Gardaí be published and made available to Dáil members. And thirdly, Taoiseach, how can you still express confidence in the Commissioner and in the shambles that has now unfolded in front of our very eyes?
Thanks, Deputy Martin. Government meeting just concluded a short time ago. For the information of the House, the Government received a very detailed briefing from the Taoiseach this morning on the recent revelations regarding the Garda handling of matters relating to the mandatory alcohol testing and to fixed charge notices. We also noted the public explanation given by senior Gardaí, including the Garda Commissioner, over the last few days. There was a very strong consensus in that discussion this morning that these revelations have given rise to the most serious concerns, not just among public representatives, but among the people generally. It's a matter of grave importance to our country that the government, the Oireachtas, and members of the public have faith and trust in the members of garda síochána to carry out their duties fairly and impartially and in accordance with the laws of the land. It's crucial that the public can believe the statistics and other information provided by garda síochána. That's why we're here as public representatives and as government. And it's absolutely essential, in my view, that a process of reform is implemented in garda síochána, that's rigorously implemented, be seen to be implemented, including through close oversight of the Independent Police Authority. People are aware that the Government have introduced a range of important reforms to policing in this state in the last number of years, including the establishment of the Police Authority, additional powers for the Garda Síochána Ombudsman Commission, greater civilianisation, open recruitment and the provision of significant extra resources. Garda Commissioner has also instituted a significant programme of internal organisation and reform, which is being overseen by the Policing Authority. But I have to say, we continue to see, Concorla, a list of unacceptable revelations about the operations of Garda Síochána, with these two issues being the very latest. The Government believes that the level of public concern is now so profound that it's time to conduct a thorough, comprehensive and independent root and branch review of Garda Síochána. This is clearly a proposal that will require further detailed consideration by Government. I also believe that such a proposition should have widespread support from the Oireachtas, and I would therefore propose that it should be subject of consultation with the opposition parties and ultimately approval by the Oireachtas.
Thank you, Taoiseach.
The Government will consider these issues again next week. I should add that the Government continues to have confidence in the Garda Commissioner. We also believe that there must be an external investigation into these two specific matters, not internally conducted by Garda Síochána. And the Taoiseach will revert on these matters later today in the topical issues in which he's dealing with the Concordia.
Deputy Martin.
You didn't actually answer the questions I asked. Why did the Garda Commissioner not inform the Policing Authority? You talked in your reply about the close oversight of the Policing Authority. It appears they were not informed. It's incredible. The radical new reform, the body that's going to take politics out of Garda Síochána, it's not told. And yesterday we were told it was an administrative oversight. I mean, Taoiseach, that is not credible. It's not credible, Taoiseach. I asked you, do you defend that? How do you explain it? Do you think it's right that the Policing Authority was not informed? And secondly, Taoiseach, I asked you, when was the Minister informed about all of this? This is going on since 2014. In 2015, Professor Cusack is saying that instead of 200,000 actually recorded, the Gardaí are indicating it's 400,000. So it's very clear to all and sundry that something is seriously wrong on a very large scale with the data that's emanating from Garda Síochána, and nothing actually happens. So I want to put it to you, Taoiseach, that I would insist that the Minister would come before the Dáil today and answer questions, not topical issues or anything like that, but in a private notice context or in some context, to answer questions on the House in relation to all of this, because it's been very opaque so far in terms of the information that's leaking out from Garda Síochána and indeed the Department of Justice as well. And we need far more transparency and serious accountability arising out of these issues than we've had up to now.
Taoiseach.
The Concordia has made a decision in respect of the Minister answering questions here today, and she's on topical issues with a number of deputies. Where questions apply on topical issues, you don't attend for topical issues. Questions are asked by deputies at the end of their first contribution. The issue you raised the issue here. Why was the Police Authority not informed? Neither were the Government. Obviously, the Minister received a letter in June of 2016. The audit was ongoing. Her department were back to the Garda Síochána on a number of occasions. Assistant Commissioner Toomey dealt with that at the press conference, apologised for it. This is not good enough, as you point out, that neither the Police Authority, which has independent oversight of the Garda Síochána, weren't told about this. An apology has been issued.
Thank you, Taoiseach.
But that's the real culture issue that needs to be dealt with here, and that audit is also underway. But I want to say to you that I am very unhappy about this situation. We now know that systems are in place to deal with these kind of circumstances from now on. But how do you deal with a situation like where you have 153% overestimation in figures in terms of breathalyzers and so on? And that's an issue, no more than people not receiving their letter, that should be the subject of an external examination, and Government have made that decision this morning, and Government will meet again next week to look at the broader implications of where we are with our Garda Síochána, so that the people can have trust and confidence in a fundamental institution of the state.